All right, Russell, would you call the roll?
Certainly, Vice Mayor. Just for the record, Mayor Brightcruz, absent. Vice Mayor Hartman,
Here.
Councilmember Albritton,
Here.
Councilmember Jablonski,
Here.
and Councilmember Kaczynski.
Here.
We have a quorum, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Would everybody please stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance
Pledge
to
allegiance.
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, folks. I think we need a motion to excuse Steve. Could somebody make a motion?
So second.
I'm sorry, who made the motion? I didn't catch the motion.
Me.
Okay, thank you. And I got Councilmember Jablonski. Okay. Keith, do we need a roll call on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Albritton,
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski,
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Vice Mayor Hartman, speak of Bill Brownlow.
Please do.
Illustrious Sir Joseph H. Brownlow Jr., potentate of Mahi Shriners in 2014, passed away on Monday, May 10th, 2021. Joseph Hugh Brownlow Jr. was born to Joseph and Violet Brownlow in Chicago, Illinois on February 19th, 1934. He was one of three children, 2 boys and a girl. He grew up in the western section of the city where a few farms still dotted the landscape. He attended local schools and he was a good student. His father was a professional painter and a wallpaper hanger. And in 1945, his work brought him and his family to sunny Miami. After a year or so, the family moved back to Chicago, but Joe remained smitten with South Florida. After graduating from high school and while attending college, Joe took up his father's trade and joined the union. He traveled back to Miami in 1957, but he didn't find as much work as he had hoped for. Joe found out that the Miami Beach Police Department was hiring. He applied and headed home to Chicago. To his surprise, he was hired and went on the force later that year. He started as a beat cop, but worked his way into the motor squad where he excelled for the next 3 decades. Joe retired at the rank of sergeant in 1989. Back in 1963, Joe met and married Cecilia Josephine Ferretti. The young couple settled in Miramar and soon had 2 girls, Christina and Gia. The family later bought property and built a home here in our Southwest ranches. The large parcel was perfect for stabling horses and other animals. Cecilia would go on to successfully train and show horses. The home would soon house a variety of animals, including donkeys, goats, pigs, chickens, raccoons, and of course, many cats and dogs. Joe became a Mason in Chicago and joined the Medina Shriners. He demitted to Mahi in 1961 and became active. Through the years, Joe participated in the Motor Corps, Provost Guard, ambassadors, greeters, and director's staff. He was also an avid road runner, a member of the Hahinga tribe and Hillbilly Clan as well. There were few Mahi events in the past 24 years that he was not present at. And because of his dedication, many nobles encouraged him to run for Oriental Guide, the position he was elected to in 1910. Outside of Mahi, Joe was active in the Police Athletic League, Fraternal Order of Police, and the Miami Beach Retirees Association. Joe's hobbies included reading and watching good television. Caring for his small farm kept him busy on a daily basis. Unfortunately, in the past year, Joe's health began declining, and he passed away this past Monday, May 10th, 2021. He is survived by his two daughters, Gia and our dear Christina. A memorial service will be held at a later date. Please keep the Brownlow family in your thoughts and your prayers. And I would like to ask everyone for a minute of silence to remember Mr. Joe Brownlow. Thank you.
Thank you, David. And our deepest condolences to Chris Brownlow and the Brownlow family. All right, on to business. So let's move on to item 3, waiver of plat number WP 2820. Andy, I think you wanted to make some comments on this.
Yes, Vice Mayor, thank you. I just wanted to remind you all, this item originally came before you a few months ago. There was an issue with an illegal transfer of a small parcel of that property. And the council basically sent it back to the applicant and said, resolve this issue and bring it back. You established tonight is the date to have that be heard again. They have not been able to resolve that issue. So you have in your agenda packet an official withdrawal request from the applicant. So this item is certainly over and done. If they're able to resolve the issue, they'll have to start all over again to bring it forward. But this puts it to bed certainly for the time being. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Keith, is there anything we need to do? Any action?
No, they can reapply at any time, and if so, it will be renoticed.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to public comment. Do we have any speakers for public comment tonight?
Vice Mayor, I don't see anyone with their hands raised.
Okay. All right, moving on. Any board reports this evening?
We have Debbie Green, who's
All righty.
to speak.
Debbie, you're up.
Ms. Green, can you hear us?
You hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes.
Hi, I'm speaking on behalf of the Education Advisory Board, and just want to again put a great thanks and shout out to all the residents of the town of Southwest Ranches for participating in the flamingo flocking fundraiser. It was a huge success and raised over $26,000 for the scholarship fund. And also another big thank you to the Sikh Youth Society for partnering with the town for a 3rd year in a row and organizing the Race for Unity and Diversity 5K run walk, even though it had to be virtually this year. Thanks to everyone that participated, and all the proceeds are donated to the town scholarship fund. And just a reminder to any students to make sure that that are applying for the scholarships, to make sure they complete the application, all the necessary letters and all that they need, and get it all turned into town hall. I think it's due within the next couple of weeks. So just to make sure to get those applications in. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Any other board chairs like to speak? Okay, seeing none, let's move on to council member comments. Who'd like to go first?
I'll go.
Thanks, Gary.
All right. I'll be really brief. Thank you, Vice Mayor. I have just a couple of announcements to make and some information to pass along. We have on the 13th of July, which is almost exactly 2 months from today, the barn photo shoot for the first responders. It's going to be at the Rolling Oaks barn. So I just want to keep mentioning that as much as possible. We also have a deadline for the scholarships. The Education Advisory Board's scholarships is a week away. And so I urge everybody all the students that are applying to complete their assignments and the paperwork necessary, since all the awards will be given out at that time. The last thing I want to bring up is something that came across I think all of us got it, but I'm not sure the general public knows about it. Russell, could you split the screen on this? There's a FDOT lighting program going on out west at Griffin Road. It goes from just south of Griffin Road and 27 up past the gas station, the truck stop. It's a little bit further north, and they're going to be working on redoing the street lighting to make it safer and bring it up to current standards. And they're putting in new light poles and adjusting some of the damaged guardrails. And I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. And if anybody needs any more information on it, product time, it's supposed to start in the fall and finish in the spring. Please contact Town Hall and we'll send you email you the flyer, for something like that. But I just wanted to make everybody aware of it. So not that if things get going here in 6 months and everybody goes, where did this come from? So, and basically that's all I have right now, Mayor. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Gary. Who'd like to go next?
Gary, I'll be real. Vice Mayor Hartman, I'll be brief. We had an incident here in Green Meadows that was a little bit disturbing. One of our residents here took their dog out at 1 o'clock in the morning outside to go to the bathroom. And in that period of time, it was shot with a pellet gun. And they're not sure where it came from. They said that there was a car driving by. There was a couple suspicious ideas, but they're thinking maybe it came from a neighbor. And that's kind of a disheartening thing that a neighbor would actually shoot somebody else's dog. And a pellet gun doesn't travel that far. I know it's a high-powered up close, but within a couple hundred yards, it's not really going to be that effective. But this dog was hit just behind just behind the ear or close to the eye or so. It's all right. I went and spoke with the lady. She did not make a police report, and I encouraged her to make one just so that it'd be on the record, just so we can keep a lookout for it. But these kind of things like this is just not neighborly. So, I just wanted to bring that to people's attention, that just keep a lookout for them, Thank you.
You're up, David.
All right. Just really short, I'm gonna give an update on the Founders Park wall. Founders Park wall mural project continues to move forward. Based upon positive changes due to the overwhelming support of the town council and the Southwest Ranches Parks Foundation, a new call to artists was issued, allowing for compensation to the artists for their talent. This project has been advertised in the town newsletter and the Sunshine Ranches Wagler and online. Just to let everybody know that the deadline to respond is July 1st. I know the rural Rural Public Arts Advisory Board is looking forward to reviewing the responses, and I know the council is looking forward to seeing this project completed. And that kind of wraps up my comments for today. Everybody have a good evening.
Thank you, David. I want to bring up something tonight just for some food for thought, not to go into debate, because I really would rather we wait until Steve is with us as well, and it concerns the nursery ordinance. I know the nursery ordinance started out as you know, the ordinance to try to deal with I guess what sparked it was the landscape nursery that was built, the retail landscape nursery that was built right next to town hall, and you know, the residents there got pretty concerned, and people have actually moved out since that place was built. And concurrently, we were trying to deal with an issue with some of the landscape maintenance operations in town. I think we probably want to split those, and I'll tell you why. Over the last 2 months, you know, a lot of people have put out all kinds of useful and misinformation about the nursery ordinance, and you know, got a lot of people engaged, which being engaged is good, because we got to hear from a lot of people that we don't normally get feedback from, particularly from the nursery community. I have a concern about incorporating the landscape maintenance language in there as well, because I had the opportunity to I had to go do a blood test over at Quest in Pembroke Pines a couple of weeks ago, and generally I don't go up 185th 6th because I'd rather not cut through if I can just run down US 27. But I did that morning because I had to stop. And I was amazed at all the landscape trucks that were coming out of these businesses on the south end. And I really believe that if we're going to change anything, we really need to engage those folks as we have the landscape people, the nursery people, excuse me. So I'd like to bring this up at our next meeting, and we have a robust discussion on this, because not including the nursery folks got a lot of people upset, or not getting enough participation, I should say, because we've had nursery folks involved. But if we're going to, further regulate or start enforcing some of the ordinances, or excuse me, some of the code that's out there, I'd like these people to understand what we're doing. So, we don't get the same criticism as we had with the nursery ordinance. I want to make sure that people have notice. So again, we'll talk about this next time, but I just wanted to put it out there so you guys can gather your thoughts and talk to anybody you want to, so that you can be prepared for that type of a discussion. That's all I wanted to bring up tonight. All right, let's see, legal comments.
None, Vice Mayor, but thank you for the birthday wishes.
You're very welcome. Administration comments.
Yeah, thank you, Vice Mayor, and I'll be almost as brief as Keith. Tonight is our next to last virtual meeting. And in 2 weeks from now, we'll be meeting virtually for the last time. And in June, we're going to resume meetings in council chambers. So we're looking forward to that, bringing people back into the building. It's been a long time, but it's time. And just want to let the public know that we only have one more virtual meeting, and we'll be back in town hall for live meetings in person. And that's really the only thing I wanted to share tonight, Vice Mayor. So thank you. One more happy birthday to Keith.
Did you want to comment on the board meetings?
Yeah, yes, I'd be happy to. We are in the process of polling not only the staff liaisons, but as well as the board members, so that we can gauge their level of comfort for resuming public meetings. So we're still in the process of doing that. The individual boards will be case by case basis for the time being.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So as well, Andy, you probably want to address item number 9, the ordinance for second reading.
Sure. Yeah, this item passed on first reading on April 22nd by a 5-0 vote. Because it deals with land use, it requires a unanimous 5-0 vote of the council. Recognizing that the mayor is not here to join us for tonight, what I'd ask for the council to consider a motion to table this for date certain in 2 weeks and bring it back at that council meeting for second reading at that time.
So moved.
Second, anybody?
Second.
May 27th, yes.
I think it was a tie.
Second.
Give it to Jim.
All right. Gary first made the motion and Jim seconded it.
Got it. Thank you. Would you like
Any discussion on this? Open it up to the public. No discussion? All righty. Russell, call the question.
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kozinski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Motion to table is approved.
Vice Mayor, before you move on to the next item, one more thing I wanted to add. I mentioned that we'll be meeting live, beginning with the June meeting. Our June meetings, council meetings, we're going to do a hybrid Zoom and live. So the expectation is certainly that the council will be in council chambers and we will be open in a limited capacity to the public. But for those who are not comfortable coming out in public at the present time, they will still be able to join the meeting via Zoom.
Oh, that's cool.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Nice.
All righty. Next up, we have a resolution. Russell, would you like to read the resolution number 10?
Certainly, Vice Mayor. This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving an agreement with C. Danner LLC for police civilian coordinator services, authorizing the mayor, town administrator, and town attorney to enter into an agreement and providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All righty. Andy, would you like to explain?
I would. I thank you, Vice Mayor. And this item brings me great pleasure to bring forward. And Cheryl's on the meeting with us. As you all know, we originally transitioned to Davie Police back in 2013, 2014. And Cheryl was one of our original officers to come over and join us. And she's been with us right through up until her retirement. And so now that she has stepped down from the Davie Police Department, she's now available to us to bring her into the service aide position. And the fact that she's recently retired from Davie PD, she knows our residents, she knows our public, she knows the officers who are serving here. We're excited to have Cheryl in the building. I mean, although she was with Davie PD, she was part of our team all along. So to bring her on board in this way and have her be able to serve the residents, as I said, gives me great pleasure.
Excellent. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Again,
I'm excited to
You
be
didn't
here.
vote yet.
Good
I was
point.
really only gone 2 months, but I'm excited to be back.
Good, good. Discussion,
I just have a question, if I may,
please.
Vice Mayor. I just want to know why, ask, maybe Andy can help me out with this. Why did the town eliminate Davie's requirement to provide? And was there any kind of financial benefit to the town to eliminate that Davie's requirement?
Sure. When we originally contracted with Davie, it was obviously for the officers on the street, but the staffing in the building was comprised of the detective, which at that time was Greg Brillant, and a service aide. Bill Gallagher was the original service aide that we had with Davie PD. And Bill was with us for several years. And when he retired, we needed to fill the service aide position. So I started talking to Davie PD and interviewing the limited service aides that they had on staff at that time. I don't want to disparage anybody, but I felt like it would have been a step down from the level of service we had before. And we were trying to decide what we were going to do with that. At that time, Tommy Scarini, who was another one of the original Davie officers who came over to Southwest Ranches, was forced into an early retirement due to medical circumstances. And so we tried to move Tommy into the aide position, so that we would be able to bring him over. The problem was, in order for him to get his proper retirement benefits, he needed to separate from the Davie Police Department. And so what we did at that time was I sat down with Rick Lamack, the Davie Town Administrator, and we were able to negotiate an amendment to our services contract to eliminate that position and the cost from that position. So the town actually contracted with Tommy to fill the service aide position, and we broke even. The cost of that contract, we had an equal reduction in the Davie contract. And so that's the way we've gone forward with it. Tommy relocated a year ago. We brought Tim in, who had retired from BSO. Tim has served us well through the pandemic, but he has some other interests, some other business interests. And there was an opportunity for him to move on. And, I started talking to Cheryl a few months ago because, I recognized the commitment that she had made to the town. And I thought she would be the ideal person to bring in order to serve the community. So we are contracting directly with Cheryl. We are not paying the cost of that had originally been in the Davie contract. So it's a long answer to your question, council member, but we got a reduction in the Davie contract so that we could contract with a separate service provider. The fact that she's retired from Davie and has access to all their systems and the state systems is just a tremendous benefit to us. Tim didn't have quite that same range, given the fact that he'd come from BSO and was served in a different capacity. So Cheryl, you had anything you might want to add to that, or did I kind of get it for you?
I think you got it.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. I really love it here. I told Andy before I left, the best decision, I worked 21 years as a law enforcement officer, and the best decision I ever made was to come out here.
All right. Is there any public comment on this?
Vice Mayor, we have one person raising their hand, Vice Mayor, and that looks like it's Newell Hollingsworth. Mr. Hollingsworth, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
This is just a comment to Cheryl. Welcome back. Glad to see that you're here, and I know you do a great job. Thank you.
Very much. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Mr. Hollingsworth. Okay, there's no further public comment, Vice Mayor.
Great. So would you call the question, Russell?
Certainly, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Albritton.
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski.
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, let's move on to item 11, approval of the minutes.
Motion to approve both minutes.
Second.
Any comments? Any comments from the public?
Don't see any hands raised from the public, Mayor, Vice Mayor.
All right, let's call the question.
Councilmember Albritton.
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski.
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And Vice Mayor Hartman, you missed the record by 1 minute. Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.